Before you panic, before you quit, before you call this the end, stop. What if the thing breaking your heart right now is actually life removing what was too small for you? Most people never discover this because they collapse too early. They see one closed door and think the whole path is blocked. They lose one person and think love has abandoned them. They fail once and call themselves a failure. But the strongest people move differently. They act as if everything is still working out, even when the evidence has not arrived yet. Before you decide that your life is falling apart, pause for one breath. Because sometimes what looks like rejection is protection. Sometimes what feels like delay is preparation. Sometimes the thing you are crying over today is the same thing you will thank life for tomorrow. But most people never reach that tomorrow. They panic too early. They quit too soon. They believe the first storm is the final message. They see one closed door and decide the whole path is blocked. They lose one person and think love has abandoned them. They fail once and call themselves a failure. They face silence, pressure, confusion, and suddenly begin to act as if everything is working against them. And when you act as if everything is working against you, your body tightens. Your mind becomes noisy. Your heart becomes weak. You stop seeing opportunities because your attention is trapped inside fear. You stop walking with dignity because you are begging life for proof. You stop trusting your own steps because you keep asking the world, will I be okay? Listen carefully. The strongest person is not the one who has no problems. The strongest person is the one who moves through problems with the inner posture of someone who already knows this will work out for me. Not because life is easy. Not because every wish arrives exactly as imagined. Not because pain disappears when you think positively. But because your energy changes when you stop fighting reality and start cooperating with it. Your decisions become cleaner. Your breath becomes deeper. Your actions become sharper. You no longer walk like someone being chased by fear. You walk like someone being guided by purpose. To act as if everything always works out does not mean you become careless. It does not mean you sit still and wait for miracles while your life collapses. It means you train your mind to stop bowing to panic. It means you stop worshiping worst-case scenarios. It means you meet each moment with the quiet confidence that even if this road bends, breaks, or disappears, you will still find your way. This is not fantasy. This is discipline. When a warrior enters training, he does not know if today will bring pain, failure, correction, exhaustion, or victory. But he steps onto the ground with one attitude: whatever comes, I will use it. If the body is tired, he uses tiredness to train patience. If the mind is restless, he uses restlessness to train focus. If the teacher corrects him, he uses correction to train humility. If he falls, he uses falling to train rising. Nothing is wasted, nothing is useless, nothing is the enemy unless he decides it is. This is why two people can face the same problem and become completely different. One person loses a job and says, my life is over. Another loses a job and says, my life is changing direction. One person is betrayed and says, I can never trust again. Another is betrayed and says, now I know what truth feels like. One person is delayed and says, I am behind. Another is delayed and says, I am being prepared. The event is not always the master. Your interpretation becomes the master. And many people suffer twice. First, they suffer from what happened. Then they suffer from the story they create about what happened. The first pain may be unavoidable. The second pain is often built by the mind. You do not only experience life, you experience the meaning you give to life. If you believe every obstacle is punishment, you will move like a victim. If you believe every obstacle is training, you will move like a student. If you believe every ending proves nothing lasts, you will close your heart. If you believe every ending makes space for what is more aligned, you will breathe again. This is why the practice begins inside. Act as if everything always works out, not by forcing a fake smile, but by choosing a powerful inner position. Tell yourself, I do not yet see the whole picture, but I trust that my next step matters. Tell yourself, this discomfort is not here to destroy me, it is here to reveal me. Tell yourself, even if this moment is heavy, I am not finished. Because the moment you believe you are finished, your spirit collapses before life has even completed the lesson. Many people ask for peace, but they train anxiety every day. They wake up and immediately check messages, opinions, problems, news, comparisons, numbers, and noise. Before their feet touch the ground, Their mind has already entered battle. Then they wonder why they cannot trust life. How can you trust life when you do not even give yourself one quiet moment to return to your center? Every morning before the world enters you, you must enter yourself. Sit quietly, breathe slowly, let the breath become your first teacher. Inhale as if you are receiving strength. Exhale as if you are releasing control. Not everything needs to be solved before breakfast. Not every fear deserves your attention. Not every thought is a command. You are allowed to begin the day without carrying yesterday's storm. The mind will say, but what if it goes wrong? And you answer, then I will respond. The mind will say, what if they leave? And you answer, then I will remain with myself. The mind will say, what if I fail? And you answer, then I will learn with discipline. The mind will say, what if I lose everything? And you answer, then I will discover what cannot be taken from me. This is how inner power is built, not by silencing fear forever, but by no longer letting fear lead. Fear is loud because it wants to protect you, but fear is not always wise. Fear knows how to imagine danger. It does not always know how to recognize destiny. Fear can keep you alive, but it cannot teach you how to truly live. For that you need trust. You need courage, you need stillness, you need the ability to stand inside uncertainty without becoming a servant of it. Most people do not fear failure as much as they fear not being in control. They want every step guaranteed. They want every person predictable. They want every result confirmed before they begin. But life does not give mastery to those who demand certainty. Life gives mastery to those who can move with awareness even when certainty is absent. The seed does not see the tree when it is buried in darkness, but it still opens. Think about this. A seed is placed under the soil. It is covered. It is pressed. It is surrounded by darkness. If the seed had a mind like most people, it would say, why am I being buried? Why is everything heavy? Why can I not see the sun? Why has life abandoned me? But the seed does not argue with the soil. It uses it. The pressure becomes part of its growth. The darkness becomes the place where roots are formed. Maybe you are not buried. Maybe you are planted. Maybe this pressure is not proof that life is against you. Maybe this pressure is the exact condition needed for the next version of you to take root. But you must stop digging yourself up every day to check if you are growing. Some growth is invisible, some progress is silent, some transformation happens beneath the surface long before the world can recognize it. You may be healing and still feel tired. You may be improving and still feel uncertain. You may be moving closer and still feel far away. Do not disrespect the hidden stages of your becoming. Act as if everything always works out means you stop needing immediate evidence. You stop demanding that life explain every chapter while you are still inside the middle of the story. You stop pulling open the cocoon before the wings are formed. Patience is not weakness. Patience is controlled strength. A person without patience destroys blessings by rushing them. They force conversations that need silence. They chase people who need to leave. They accept opportunities that do not match their spirit because they are afraid nothing better will come. They make permanent decisions from temporary emotions. They grab at life with trembling hands and then wonder why everything slips away. When you truly believe things are working out, your grip softens. You still act, but you do not beg. You still care, but you do not collapse. You still desire, but you do not worship the outcome. You still work, but your work is not poisoned by desperation. Desperation says, I must have this, or I am nothing. Trust says, I will give my best, and what is meant to meet me will recognize me. There is a very different energy between chasing and aligning. Chasing is fear-wearing movement. Alignment is purpose-wearing patience. When you chase, you abandon yourself to reach something outside you. When you align, you become the kind of person who can hold what you are asking for. Many people want the right life, but they do not train the right self. They want peace, but keep choosing chaos. They want love, but keep betraying their boundaries. They want success, but keep avoiding discipline. They want confidence, but keep speaking to themselves like an enemy. How can everything work out if you keep working against yourself? To act as if everything works out, you must become loyal to your own growth. This means you stop feeding habits that weaken you. You stop entertaining thoughts that poison your spirit. You stop staying in places where your soul has to shrink to be accepted. You stop calling self-abandonment kindness. You stop confusing attachment with love. You stop letting your past write laws for your future. The past may explain your reactions, but it does not have to command your destiny. Yes, you were hurt. Yes, you were disappointed. Yes, some people did not treat you with the care you deserved. But do not let one chapter make you suspicious of the entire book. Do not let the pain of yesterday become the prison of tomorrow. You can honor what happened without obeying it forever. The wound says, protect yourself by closing. Wisdom says, protect yourself by seeing clearly. There is a difference. A closed heart cannot receive what life is trying to give. A clear heart can choose wisely. So when you say, everything always works out for me, understand what you are really saying. You are not saying every person will stay. You are saying, if they leave, I will not abandon myself. You are not saying every plan will succeed. You are saying, if the plan fails, I will become wiser and adjust. You are not saying pain will never visit. You are saying, when pain comes, I will not turn it into my identity. You are not saying life will obey you. You are saying, I will remain present enough to cooperate with life. This is a higher form of trust. Weak trust says, I trust life only when it gives me what I want. Strong trust says, even when I do not understand, I will not become reckless with my energy. Many people lose their power during waiting seasons. They begin well, they set the intention, they take action. But when results do not appear quickly, they start doubting. Then they start comparing. Then they start forcing. Then they start making choices from insecurity. The waiting season reveals whether your faith is real or only decoration. Can you still act with dignity when no one is clapping? Can you still practice when no one sees improvement? Can you still believe in your path when the results are quiet? Can you still hold your standard when loneliness offers you a cheaper option? This is where character is formed. Everyone wants the mountain view, but few respect the climb. The climb is repetitive. The climb is uncomfortable. The climb does not always feel inspiring. Some days your legs ache. Some days the fog is thick. Some days you wonder if you are walking in circles. But every step taken with awareness changes you. Sometimes the real purpose of the mountain is not to give you the view. It is to make you into someone who can stand at the top without losing balance. What you want may require a stronger nervous system, a calmer mind, a cleaner circle, a deeper discipline, a softer heart, a sharper boundary, a more honest relationship with yourself. So if life is making you wait, do not only ask, when will it come? Ask, who am I becoming while it comes? If you receive too early what you have not grown enough to carry, the blessing can become a burden. The opportunity you prayed for can expose the discipline you avoided. The relationship you wanted can reveal the healing you postponed. The success you imagined can magnify the emptiness you never faced. This is why preparation is mercy. When things do not arrive on your timeline, do not immediately call it failure. Sometimes life is protecting the future version of you from receiving something the current version of you would mishandle. Sometimes the delay is not denial. Sometimes the closed door is not rejection. Sometimes the silence is not absence. Sometimes the space is where your strength is being assembled. But the ego hates this. The ego wants proof now. The ego wants control now. The ego wants recognition now. The ego wants to say, look, I was right. The spirit does not need to be right. The spirit wants to be free. And freedom begins when you stop arguing with what is. This does not mean you become passive. It means you stop wasting energy fighting reality. If it is raining, you do not scream at the sky. You take shelter, or you learn to walk in the rain. If the road is blocked, you do not sit forever cursing the stone. You observe, you breathe, you find another way, or you build strength to move it. Reality is not always personal. Sometimes it is simply the training ground. The question is not, why is this happening to me? The deeper question is, how can I meet this without losing myself? When you ask better questions, you access better power. The mind that asks, why me, becomes smaller. The mind that asks, what now, becomes sharper. The mind that asks, what can this teach me, becomes wiser. The mind that asks, what action is mine to take today, becomes useful. Do not underestimate the power of one useful action. When life feels uncertain, people often search for a giant solution. They want one decision that fixes everything, one message that changes everything, one sign that removes all fear. But the path is usually built through small, honorable actions repeated with sincerity. Clean your space, train your body, drink water, answer the message you have avoided. Apologize where your pride has been blocking peace. Set the boundary you keep negotiating. Finish the task you keep delaying. Sleep earlier. Wake with intention. Speak truthfully. Stop feeding the habit that makes you ashamed. These simple things are not small. They are votes for the person you are becoming. Act as if everything works out by behaving like your future is worth protecting. A person who believes their life is doomed treats themselves carelessly. A person who believes their life is sacred becomes more disciplined. They do not say, nothing matters. They say, everything I do is shaping me. They do not wait to feel motivated. They move because commitment is stronger than mood. They do not need perfect conditions. They create order inside imperfect conditions. This is the difference between a dreamer and a practitioner. A dreamer imagines a beautiful life. A practitioner trains for it. A dreamer waits for confidence. A practitioner builds it through action. A dreamer wants the universe to open doors. A practitioner becomes prepared enough to walk through them. You cannot keep asking life for expansion while living with the habits of contraction. You cannot ask for peace and keep returning to drama. You cannot ask for confidence and keep breaking promises to yourself. You cannot ask for abundance and keep acting from scarcity in every conversation, every decision, every thought. Scarcity says, there is not enough, I am not enough, time is running out, others are ahead, I must grab whatever appears. Abundance says, there is enough space for my path, I can move with patience. What is aligned with me will not require me to betray myself. This is not arrogance, this is inner stability. When you are stable inside, you stop treating every situation like a verdict on your worth. Someone does not reply, and you do not collapse. An opportunity does not come, and you do not insult yourself. A plan changes, and you do not lose your center. You feel emotion, yes, you are human, but emotion passes through you. It does not become your master. Let sadness visit, but do not build it a throne. Let fear speak, but do not give it the steering wheel. Let disappointment be felt, but do not let it rename you. This is emotional discipline. Some people think strength means never feeling low. No, strength means you feel the heaviness and still choose a clean action. You feel doubt and still return to practice. You feel hurt and still refuse to become cruel. You feel lost and still take the next honest step. The river does not stop because a rock appears. It bends, it moves around, it softens the stone over time. It continues. This is the wisdom of water. Water is patient but not weak, soft but unstoppable, humble but powerful enough to carve valleys. It does not announce its strength. It simply continues. Can you become like water? When someone misunderstands you, can you continue without needing to prove yourself to every closed mind? When one path closes, can you flow into another without calling yourself defeated? When life becomes heavy, can you keep moving with softness instead of becoming bitter and hard? Bitterness feels like protection, but it is actually a cage. It keeps pain alive by making it your personality. It tells you never trust, never open, never try, never hope. But a life built on never is not safety. It is slow disappearance. You were not born only to avoid pain. You were born to become fully alive. And to become fully alive, you must risk again. Not blindly, not foolishly, not by ignoring the lessons, but with a wiser heart. A heart that says, I have been hurt, and still I choose not to become the hurt. A heart that says, I have lost, and still I choose not to live like loss is the only truth. A heart that says, I have fallen, and still I choose to rise without hatred. This is rare strength. Many people can become hard. Few can remain open and wise. When you act as if everything works out, you carry this rare strength into your day. You stop entering rooms like you need permission to exist. You stop explaining your worth to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stop shrinking your light because someone else is uncomfortable with brightness. You stop apologizing for wanting a life that feels true.